Today has been an insanely crazy day. It's been an insanely crazy 48 hours in the life of LTL podcast. Just ridiculousness. But welcome back, everybody, to the live show. I cannot believe that it's November. It's November 1st, 2023. And I want to welcome everybody back into the live show. I have a lot to get into this evening, but I can tell you my life has been so upside down the last 48 hours. Just everything that has gone on today, everything that has gone over the last 2 days. I have some really exciting stuff to announce if you haven't seen it yet, but I want to talk. Obviously, we're here for Turtleboy today. We're going to talk Turtleboy, what happened down at the courthouse, to give you kind of my synopsis of everything. But I want to take about 10 minutes to talk about a case that is extremely, extremely important to me right now, and I have some updated information. So, my Turtleboy fans, hang in there. We're going to get to that, but people that are here for Chelsea Grim, I have some updates that I want to share with all of you. So please give me about 10 or 15 minutes. I want to get through this this new information to get this out, as this case has been near and dear to my heart. And I know it's near and dear to a lot of my subscribers' hearts as well, too. So I do have some breaking news that I want to talk about. So I just released the full body cam video of Chelsea in that cemetery in Williams, Arizona. If you have not seen it, I'm going to place a link to it right now. It's very important that everybody gets over to that video. Give it some likes, some thumbs up. I think, and I was just talking to Carrie a little bit ago, I think I'm the first person to post the full video online. So that's pretty cool. And I want to get that out there because it's something that is informative to her disappearance. And I think people need to know what went on in that video. So you have the ability to go over there, look over it, make your notes. If you see anything, let me know. If there's anything that's up, let me know. Very kindly, how the way I obtained it, Freedom of Information Act, I did an overnight to the Williams Arizona Police Department. I actually have the police report that I'm going to show you as well. And I was able to attain it. I literally got home from the courthouse, sat down, started to do some work on the show for tonight. Bam, it came up on my email. I was like, oh my God. So I got that, loaded it up, got it out for premiere 8 p.m. So if you missed it, please go over, watch it. It's very important to watch it. What I'm going to do now is show you the full police report. Obviously, I've redacted some sensitive information in there that I don't think that people need to know about that. So give me a second. I'm going to pull that up and we'll go through that. Let me just bring this up here. Again, when I'm in presentation mode, I won't be able to see what you are saying. So, and then there was also an update from SF Investigates that we're going to read as well too. So full police report here. You can see it. I'm going to enlarge this here. And basic here was activity, suspicious or suspicious person activity. Priority is immediate, 8/28/23 at 1936. And you have the complainant was the person that actually called it in. The area of the incident was 1737 West Route 66 in Williams, Coconino County. And then we have just the final disposition of activities, the person that is involved. I redacted, obviously, information about her vehicle, about Chelsea's vehicle, and if there was any transport. If you go up here, the notes say, and I found this to be interesting, reported advised that there was a white car that has been there for about an hour and a half. Stated there was 101 there earlier that was hunched over the car. The 101 doesn't appear to be near the vehicle now. 153 advisory, no suspicious activity. 101 was taking photos, which would be Chelsea. That's the reported person. 101 was taking photos of memorial, got emotional. She stated that she was aware of expiring registration and will be taking care of it, cleared. So basically the call was cleared. Here's the incident closed. There's the time on the log, 9/28/23 at 19:49 and 6 seconds. So had the vehicle here, and I think it puts the rest of the rumor that was going around that this police officer was involved. Let's just stop that. It's kind of goofy. So we'll stop with that. What I want to do now is bring up Steve's latest update, and it's very, very interesting. It's very informative, and I want to read that as well. So this was tweeted out just a little while ago. And it says, I'm going to make this my last post about Chelsea Grim. Hang on one second. I just want to bring this down. Let me go back to that. I'm going to make this my last post about Chelsea Grim case. There is not much more I can disclose publicly. I firmly believe that there is full transparency needed to be solved missing persons case, but this is not my decision to make. I was contracted for 4 days in the search efforts. I did 9 days, the other days pro bono. In those days, I am proud of what I was able to accomplish. Motel surveillance, viewing Love's surveillance, another business Chelsea visited at 4:10 p.m. on September 28th, and interviewing 3 employees, inspecting and searching her vehicle at the police impound yard, taking possession of all the evidence from the sheriff's department, including her computer, a phone, purse, wallet, journals, receipts, and her Canon camera, which had over 400 pictures from the area she went missing, miles and miles of foot search, and over 120 gigs of drone footage. One of the last photos Chelsea took is a selfie, timestamped at 5:51 p.m., September 30th, putting herself inside the vehicle in an almost at dark at that exact point where her car was recovered. Hundreds of text messages were also recovered. The single biggest piece of evidence, in my opinion, is the handwritten note from September 28th that is rather cryptic, but after interviewing an employee at the business and a few other of Chelsea's friends, I was able to figure out the meaning and significance. This is not a suicide note. This was all passed along to the lead investigator, and I hope they will follow up on it. The investigators and family have decided to bring in a child blank trafficking organization from East Coast to conduct further search efforts. For the reason I will go silent to make sure I do not interfere with their efforts. I truly hope they locate Chelsea. I hope they respect the goodwill that has been built with the ranch owners, locals, and law enforcement. I will conclude by saying I do not believe there is a crime in this case. I believe it's one 30% chance after blowing out 2 tires, she hiked out safely, possibly the next morning, and had someone pick her up or found a way to continue her journey to stay off the grid. I will mention there were 3 bills of sale for low-priced vehicles she purchased recently, and those should be investigated because there is an eyewitness sighting of her in a gray car, not an SUV. And we talked about that. Remember, the gray car at the Circle K. Remember that? I have that on my map, that there was a sighting. It was a older 1990s Nissan gray. Remember that? I talked about it. It's on my map. We're going to get more into this tomorrow night, but I just want to kind of skim through this, and we're going to get to Turtle Boy because I don't want to hold up the Turtle Boy stuff while it's fresh in my head. But I know this is very, very important, and I wanted to at least get this out there tonight. But we're going to go over this tomorrow. But let me continue to read here and just conclude this, and then we'll move on to the Turtle Boy presentation today. She was executing her plan to find a new life and stay off the grid. In a diminished mental state after blowing out 2 tires, she hiked out shortly after she took a 5:51 p.m. photo and truly got lost in the dark by taking one of many roads that fork off on F Farm Road 6 she was traveling on. In this case, she could be far out in the current search zone. At night, without a compass, lost person behavior statistics show that people tend to walk in an arc, even though they are thinking that they are walking straight. I would widen the search grid out to check a search band starting at 8 miles from the car and at least 15 miles out in an arching formation to west to northwest of her car's location. As with every case, Chelsea weighs heavy on my heart, and she weighs heavy on mine. I've put a lot of work into this. I've put a lot of research into this. I've come in contact with people that I never thought that I would ever come in contact. And I'm so grateful, which has been shared with me and allowed me to be in that information sharing group. So I'm very, very thankful. And I think that's why I get very emotional about this case. And I think this is why this case sticks with me. You know, every day I said that I get up every day, my 2 feet hit the ground, and I literally look up in the sky and say, Chelsea, where are you? You know, where are you? We're trying to find you. Where are you? So I think it does weigh very heavy on my heart as well, too. And I think I take it almost personal now because I see a lot of the mainstream media that's just jumping on this. And unfortunately, you know, it's going to drown out a smaller podcast like myself, you know, and I think I take it a little bit personal. I take it a little bit to heart because I've invested so much in this. I've never met Chelsea in my entire life. I just picked up the story because I found it very bizarre, interesting, and very scary. You know, the sense that this young lady just literally was plucked out of existence. We have no idea where she is, and I found the need to grab onto that and try to help. And again, I've been very appreciative with the people that I've been in contact with. Again, I'm not a private investigator. I'm not a law enforcement. I'm just a guy in my bedroom that does a podcast. And if I can help or get some information out there to help people, that's what I want to do here. But I digress. So it says, I hope by a miracle she is okay. In this case, she is not okay. I hope they ramp up private search efforts to find her before the snow falls. I appreciate that the investigation and family trust me with the search efforts for those 4 days, and I hope that nothing but success to the new organization coming in. Excuse me. I hope everyone can understand that I can't answer further questions or reply to comments on this case. I've attached one photo proving she was in her car at 5:51 Pacific time on September 30th. For those that will say maybe she didn't take this photo, there are others at the same time where she is visible, but out of respect to her privacy, I am not showing a photo that includes her in it. Godspeed, Chelsea. Hashtag Chelsea Grimm. And this is that photo. So tomorrow night, we're going to follow up. Brian Enton is now reporting on this disappearance, this case, and we will follow up with a full presentation tomorrow. It's heartbreaking. It's emotional. I know her friends care deeply for her, and they want her to come home. So thank you for letting me start this podcast with this information. Again, if you haven't seen it, I have released the full body cam footage and the police report of Chelsea Grimm's case, and you're able to see that here on LTL True Crime Podcast. So I appreciate that. Okay, friends, let's get into today's events over at the courthouse. Obviously, you know, I went out to do some live streaming at Aidan Kearney's court appearance. He's facing those charges of witness intimidation and conspiracy, and I was able to get out there and do some live streaming. It was interesting. It was very, very interesting. It was the first time I ever did anything like that, but I have to say that the people that I ran into were very, very nice and very accepting. They actually knew LTL. They were like, "Oh, I know you. Hey, what's up?" And it was really, really cool. Heavy police presence presence outside. We had some mainstream media there. Obviously, you'll see that in a little while. But the people that I came in contact with, really nice. I had some really great interviews out there. Unfortunately, the video was terrible and it lagged. And after I went and checked it, because everybody was saying in the chat, "Hey, it's laggy, it's laggy." There was nothing I could do. It's just connection. And people told me in that area, because of the courthouse, because they probably have so many Wi-Fi and stuff like that going at the same time, it just really disrupts the signal. So what I decided to do was, at the end, when Aidan came out from his court hearing, I just recorded about 15 minutes of video. I'm going to play that because if you obviously weren't there today, you wouldn't know. And that'll give you some boots on the ground footage of what they talked about, what he talked to in the mainstream media. And you get to see kind of his crowd that came out to support him today as well. So it was very eventful. It was very eventful. It was cool kind of chasing everything down and getting to meet people and ask them some questions. And people were very, very nice. And they're very supportive. They're very supportive of Aidan and they're very supportive of Karen. And I just wanted to go down there and just show that perspective, get that story and see, what was going on. What was the buzz? What were people talking about? Some very smart people that are informed with the case. And it was really great. By the way, Rita, if you're watching, I did just get your text before you came live. I'm going to reach back out to you. I would love for you to come on the podcast and have a conversation. My people were loving you today in the chat, and I would love for you to come up and I would love for you to come on the chat and just talk to us about, your involvement here. So let me do this. I'm going to bring up the presentation. I took some photos today, not a lot, because basically I just streamed the whole time. So I'm gonna pull up these photos. What I'll also do is I will play what happened inside the court. I'm going to play what footage I got outside the court, and then Aidan actually did a response on his way home. So we'll play that as well. So let me pull up the photos. So I had a couple of photos here from the courtroom. You can see by this time, everybody actually, the crowd was inside watching, and we just had a couple of supporters out front. I got to know Tom a little bit here. Very nice gentleman, former police officer, and he was really great. And him and I were kind of chatting it up and chumming it up outside. And everybody was very thankful. They said, "Hey, I know you. Thanks for coming out. Thanks for supporting." And it was neat. It was really, really neat. Here was some of the signs that everybody had made up. So I just wanted to get some shots of those so you could see what was going on, what the signs were being held. It was a lot of support, a lot of people coming by, honking their horns, saying "Free Turtleboy, free Karen Reed." It was just interesting. It was interesting overall to be part of that. This was Aidan after his hearing. I have to say, I think it was a pretty great shot. It would be nice if his face was turned a little bit more, but this was my position because obviously you can see the mainstream media got in there, and I wanted to have a clear shot and not just be squashed up in there. So I had a couple of those shots. And after he was kind of hanging out with some of the fans here, I think there's another great shot here. And just the supporters and the fans of his. And he looked great. He looked confident. He was well prepared when he came out. When I first got there, I showed up and I was just getting my gear ready. And I was getting my camera all set up because I didn't think he was there yet. I got there about 2. When I emailed him and said, "Hey, what time are you going to be there?" He said about 2:30. So I said, "All right, I have time." So I started getting my gear out, my camera holder, made sure my battery pack. I actually ended up leaving my battery pack in the car, but I ended up getting it. But just as I look down and I look up, he's literally right there. I was like, "Holy shit." I was like, "Hey, Aidan, what's up?" I was like, "Brian, LTL." He's like, "Hey, what's up?" And he shook my hand. Very, very nice. Walked by and he kind of hung out in front of the steps for a little bit and then went right up into court because I think they started a little bit early. So from that time out, about 2:10 to about 2:45, I streamed outside. Again, I apologize that the video was terrible, but hey, we got some content out there. I could show you what was going on. Aidan went in, and when I had this shot, I just didn't know what to do. I was just like, I don't know what to do here. So we did a little funny, he had the fist up, and I just did kind of a funny photo like this. So, but it was fun. You know, it was fun to go out there and do this and actually get out and do some really boots on the ground journalism. And people were just so nice, just very, very nice, really, really nice. Chrissy says, yes, Rita is the mother hen of all us turtle riders. Bring Rita on. Yeah, I have Rita. She texted me. I'm gonna reach back out to her. I want to learn more about her. I didn't know what kind of photo to take. It was just in the moment. It was spontaneous. I felt like doing that. He had the fist up, so it ended up working. It ended up working out. But it was neat. It was really neat to get out there and be part of it. You kind of get the juices flowing. You're feeling the excitement of it. You're trying to run and get the best shot. And it was cool. It was very cool for me because I do a podcast from literally my bedroom, corner of my bedroom, and to be out and be live and do this, it was really neat. So, all right. So what I'll do is I'm going to play the court hearing from inside. It's not the best video in the world. I'm going to take it from, it was from the Young Jerks podcast. If you haven't subscribed to them, go over. They do a lot of podcasts with Aidan. So I'm going to drop that link there. Please go over, subscribe to them. I don't think they'll mind that I'm using this. You're going to see, you know, their commentary down below in the chat, but at least we'll be able to hear. And this was the hearing inside, and then I'll show you what it looked like on the outside, and then we'll play Aidan's response. So here we go.
Established by law for decades and perhaps centuries.
Oh, thank you, Daniel.
A journalist, by virtue of one being called a journalist, that does not confer upon an individual the right to break the law. It's not a license. It's you have certain freedoms that you can demand be observed, but those freedoms do not extend to harassing witnesses, harassing their children, etc. Your Honor received as a supplement.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Appreciate you.
Memorandum, a report or a statement from Detective Lieutenant Tully. Hold on one second. Let me just see. Go ahead. And there are some. That's only a small number of some of the incidents that have occurred by virtue of actions of the defendant. This particular individual.
Oh, I also want to let you all know too. He said, "Hey, I want to come back on your podcast soon." So I thought that was cool. He made that commitment. Very, very cool, and that will be exciting as well too when he comes back on. I know you'll all be looking forward to that. So it was just really nice to get out and meet him and be out there, kind of in the, you know, in everything. You know, it worked out really well. And again, I met some really nice people. I wish we had more time at the end to talk. It kind of, when he left, everybody just kind of dispersed really quick. You know, it was very cold out today. I can say that. It was like 32 or 35 degrees. Definitely feeling winter here. Everybody's hands were freezing. Thank God I was smart and brought gloves. But he did say he wanted to come back on the podcast, which is absolutely, you know, we'll have him back on.
People in a way that where he says, "I'm not a threat to you. I'm not going to cause you any harm," but his actions are contrary to his words in many cases. He's called people and indicated, you know, in one instance to one of the witnesses, has advocated on his pages, his web pages, has advocated for people to call the employer or to post on the employer's website, clearly intending to cause some economic harm to that witness and jeopardize her job, hoping that, you know, I would say by extension, you could assume that they would hope that the employer would come down on that particular witness for having brought that type of notoriety to the company. There are other instances where he's advocated for people to go to the business of an individual witness and order things and seemingly not pay for them. Those have all been advocated for by this defendant. And that's the economic harm that a witness would suffer. In one particular instance, one witness who owns a pizza shop in Canton has reported a marked increase in the number of orders and has advocated for having brought that type of notoriety to the company. There are other instances where he's advocated for people to go to the business of an individual witness and order things and seemingly not pay for them. Those have all been advocated for by this defendant. And that's the economic harm that a witness would suffer. In one particular instance, one witness who owns a pizza shop in Canton has reported a marked increase in the number of orders called in that were not picked up. And that's because this defendant has advocated for that. There are other instances where he has approached people and stated online, life as you know it has changed. You won't be able to go anywhere without being photographed or followed. We know where you've been. There are instances where he's conspired.
I appreciate that. I read the underlying documents that were filed in support of the complaint with respect.
You're just coming in right now. We're hearing the court hearing today from this afternoon, Aidan Kearney. Again, you know, I missed this earlier today. If I didn't get to this, I saw some super chats and some memberships that were dropped earlier. I want to thank everybody for doing that. It's not on purpose that I didn't get back to you and say thank you. It's just was a highly busy day. I was looking on a small phone. I couldn't see a lot, and the connection was terrible. So thank you all for the support this afternoon. All right, we'll keep playing through this, and then we'll get to my video from outside the courtroom today.
Back to the 9 cases. Let me ask you this too. Mr. Kearney objects to the stay away, no contact, because it says he will not be able to be in the same place as the witnesses / victims, okay, who were named in the 9 counts in the Stoughton District Court. Do you agree that he should be allowed to attend proceedings in the Reed case here to the extent he is conducting reasonable journalism?
Yes.
Okay, so we should we should allow him to attend those hearings, and that should be made clear in whatever conditions are set.
And Commonwealth would agree to that, Judge.
Okay,
yes.
All right. So that would be an exception to, if I were to select 500 feet, to the 500-foot stay away condition.
500 feet.
So that he could attend court proceedings.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, if I adopted the 500. Okay. Anything else you want to add?
No, Judge, other than for the fact that in this case, you know, and I don't mean to repeat myself, the representation that this is in any way stifling to journalistic activity does not carry any weight, Your Honor. There are 2 statutes on the books, particularly that have been violated more than anything else, and that is the statute of harassing and intimidating witnesses and their family members, as well as protesting or organizing, et cetera, around their homes. And that's as precluded by 13A. And you can't hide behind the shield of a journalist to break the law. And an example I have thought of is, if this particular defendant were following a story, an allegation that a bank in the community was passing counterfeit currency, would not give him the right to break into that bank and to break into the vault to check for himself. There's a law in the books that precludes that or prohibits that. Same here with intimidating witnesses, Your Honor. Same here with protesting in front of their homes.
Okay.
Thank you, Judge.
I'm going to get something from Mr. Bradel. Okay, if I adopted the...
You might have had some technical difficulties. I kind of noticed that throughout the day through this presentation. So sorry about that. It's the best we can do. Best we can do right now. Oh, let me see if I can speed it up here.
Accept is a copy of whatever is linked to in Mr. Kearney's supplemental affidavit.
What state do we live in,
yeah,
Olivia? Come on.
Supplemental affidavit.
What state is this happening in?
What I was going to state to the court is, if Your Honor like, we were prepared at our last session to
mini pizzas.
Show the.
I had a tiny pizza today when I got home. Tiny pizza.
And what was really going on there, Judge, is that Mr. Kearney was calling a witness and satirizing his threatening video that Mr. Kearney had seen. And Mr. Kearney was mocking that and repeating that back to him, what was said by the witness, roughly stated. And he then shifted in that conversation into leaving a message about the Reed case, asking journalistic questions about the case. So that's what's going on there. There was no attempt to threaten or violate the witness intimidation statute by satirizing the witness's own statements back to him. So
what the intent was will be for a jury to determine. I'm faced with the statements. Okay.
Sure. And I just wanted to give context in terms of there's a number of factual disputes about what's going on here. The government,
I'm sure there are.
And the government says that he videotaped the interior of witness homes without their permission. Judge, walking up to someone's door, knocking on the door while the camera's rolling happens all the time in journalism. And if the door's open, you're going to see inside the house. People can put up a no trespassing sign. People can keep their door shut. But if someone walks up to the door, if a journalist walks up to the door with news cameras without any no trespassing signs, that's protected by the First Amendment. If something inside the house that's open to plain view from the street gets videotaped,
Thank you, Susan. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Protected by the First Amendment. This is a series of things that the government cites, just flatly cites behavior and expects a court to look at it and go, yup, that's witness intimidation. It's not witness intimidation. It doesn't satisfy the First Amendment. The standards in O'Brien versus Borowski for harassment, Your Honor, they have to apply here. They can't not apply. So I'm asking you to apply those. And whenever you look at any of these factual nuggets that the government wants to say is witness intimidation, they abjectly fail under O'Brien v. Borowski, under the First Amendment, and they should not be credited as witness intimidation. And again, this goes back to the merits of the case.
Harassment is one provision of the witness intimidation statute.
Yes.
But willfully threatening or attempting or causing physical, emotional, or economic injury to witnesses is another element of the witness intimidation statute.
Yeah.
When you publicize somebody.
Yeah, we're going to have her on. I just reached out to her. I'm going to reach out to her. We'll have her on.
And you say to my followers, call this job and let them know what you think about her. Or I don't think that's the way it's phrased. I think it's more like, there are these open websites. Get at it and post on those websites. I am very much paraphrasing, but that's the sentiment of the conversation that's posted by your client, as I understand it. That is not reporting death advocacy. That's encouraging people to do something to another party's economic disadvantage. When you tell my followers to go and call a restaurant and order food and don't go and pick it up and don't pay for it, and that's what happens, that's economic injury. It certainly may cause emotional injury too, but it's certainly economic injury, which is an element of the witness intimidation statute separate from harassment. So I don't think you're telling me that first clause of the witness intimidation statute does not apply in a First Amendment context. It sounds to me like what you're arguing is that the actions by your client did not attempt to cause emotional or economic injury. That seems like what you're arguing, but I want to make sure I understand clearly what it is you are.
I appreciate that, Your Honor. That's part of what I'm arguing, absolutely. But the second part of it, Judge, is that if you look at the analogous framework in O'Brien v. Borowski, economic injury is not allowed. Economic injury violates the First Amendment. They're criminalizing that. You're allowed to boycott. You're allowed to urge people not to do business with someone. You're allowed to say to people, I'm going to sue you and destroy you. You're allowed to do that. That is prohibited under O'Brien v. Borowski in the harassment context there. There's no reason why that shouldn't be applied here, Your Honor.
Okay, are you aware of you were in a situation where that case's description, that case's ruling in the 258E context was applied to the witness intimidation statute to say that nothing other than what constitutes actionable harassment under 258E can be enjoined or prosecuted or constitute a crime under the witness intimidation statute.
There's no such case, Your Honor, and that's what I'm inviting this court to do. On the merits, the merits of the case in the context of whether collateral order should issue, I ask that you find that it's unconstitutional, that those activities are constitutionally protected by the First Amendment, that you can threaten economic injury to a witness, and it's covered by the First Amendment. Absolutely. That's why the court, in the analogous context in O'Brien v. Borowski, truncated it to threats, fighting words, and the fear can only be applicable to bodily injury or property damage, not economic injury. That's something for a civil court. That's something to be hashed out in the marketplace of ideas. And that's my position on that, Judge. The law there is going to become the law here, and I hope it happens in Dedham. I hope it doesn't have to go to Boston or Washington, D.C., but at some point, I have to urge the court that that's going to be the law here, that these statutes are incredibly overbroad.
I don't think we're going to get the full hearing here, but at least you get kind of a gist of what was going on inside the courtroom. This is going to end in about 20 seconds, so I don't think they're going to go, all right, go. So we might not get the whole thing, but at least you know what was the argument being played there today. Actually, Rita's right there. That's Rita right there. If anybody's wondering, she's sitting right there, first seat.
Inhibit freedom, they inhibit the First Amendment, and they need to be stopped. Okay, Your Honor.
Thank you. I'll take the matter under advisement. I'll get whatever I get.
Maybe it is.
And you get a
Bye.
from me. Okay? Thank you.
That's it.
Thank you, Your Honor.
It did wrap up. Sorry, guys. I had no idea. It felt like it wasn't going to wrap, but we got it. All right, so let's see what happened when Aidan came out. Here's my coverage of when he came out. I'm going to release this video after the podcast, so if you want to go back and reference it, please do. Here we go. I must say, I had a very steady hand today. It was all hand shot, too. I held that camera so steady. Actually did really well. Yeah, she was very nice. Rita was great. I'm going to reach out to her and get her on the podcast. I had a
Yeah.
not bad though. All hand shot. My iPhone. Wipe the lens just to make sure.
That's right.
Oh, you were right there? I probably saw it. I probably looked over really quick.
They're killing Richie with the flag.
No selfie stick. It wasn't about me. It was about the hearing today. That's what it was about. About the hearing.
Yeah, I was waiting for
What's up with oh, how was it? Here we go.
I got to say, his supporters, I don't want to sound stupid, but his supporters really, really support him. They have a very strong support, and that's the sense of what I got looking at it from kind of a journalistic point of view. Just looking and seeing how they really, his supporters really believe in this and really believe in him and what he's doing. And it was interesting to see, and it was interesting to be part of that. And like I said, people were very, very nice today. The people that I ran into and talked to really quick and whatnot, they were very, very nice. So we'll play through this.
I think that he's a little bit misinformed about the facts.
Might be a little hard to hear. I'm sorry, but as close as I could get.
He doesn't really seem to know what actually happened because he's been presented clips of things.
Oh, is that Rita? Did you get my text message, Rita? If that's the Rita that I'm thinking about.
With that particular situation, Elizabeth Proctor, the wife of State Trooper
Oh, it was
Michael
cold.
Proctor, contacted the employers of multiple turtle riders. That's what we call our fans. Multiple turtle riders. She contacted their employers and said that they should be fired because they commented negatively about her husband. In return, I wrote about that.
Oh
I
yeah,
said,
okay,
"Here's
Rita.
what this woman did."
That's Rita.
She's
Rita.
trying to get
Rita,
them-
I got your text. I texted you back. Let's do this. I'm going to reach out to you. We'll have kind of a conversation first, and then we'll set up a timeline if you want to come on. I'd love to hear your story, how you got involved with this. And then you told me that I think you were on the community board in Canton at some point. So you were on the board. I'd love to hear all about that and have you come on and just tell us, your story, your involvement in this. So we'll get out here and play this. But yeah, I got your text. I'm going to reach out to you. I'll give you a phone call sometime probably this week, and then we'll set something up. Maybe next week we can do something if we have a mutual day off or something like that. So don't worry, we'll be in touch.
People fired for speaking out against her husband. In response,
That's Aidan's lawyer in the trench coat behind
or
him.
posted on her company's Facebook page with negative comments about that. So it's okay when she does it.
I'm not
When
sure,
other people
Tsunami.
do it to her,
Really not
it's
sure.
suddenly a felony. That is how protected.
I mean, it's kind of
Elizabeth Proctor
part of the
is,
case
because
now.
Her husband is a state trooper who I have been criticizing for covering up the murder of John O'Keefe and framing Karen Reed. It's undeniable. The evidence shows it. And because people have the audacity to speak out about Michael Proctor, Elizabeth Proctor has a history of
Rita, let's do this. If I'm able to drop a link to you, can you come on camera or can you call in? What would you prefer? Because I can drop a link in the chat. You can grab the link. I'll have you come on. She said I can give you 15 minutes right now. Whatever you prefer. Sounds great. Thanks for spreading the word. Well, let's do this. If you have time right now, I can drop a link. You can jump on. If you don't have to turn your camera on, you can just talk. That's fine if you don't want to turn your camera on. But yeah, let's do it right now. We're live, so why not? Yeah, they're very, very, it was a very nice crowd. I have to say that. It was very accepting. They came right up to me. They knew who I was right away. Drop the link. All right, we're gonna get Read On right now. You asked, we're gonna deliver. All right, link is in the chat, Rita. If you want to jump on that, I'll bring you up. We'll go back to this video when Rita jumps on. I know she was very vocal today, very informative. And I just kind of want to hear her perspective on this and how she got involved. Hey, now we have spontaneous things that happen here on LTO. LTL. I said LTO. But take your time, Rita. Get yourself settled in. We're fine. I'm going to keep playing this a little bit, and then we'll go back to it.
Trying to get them fired from their jobs. That is the real story that has not been told to Judge Crump.
That was so funny. The final countdown played as we were out there talking. It was like so ironic, so weird. All right, we got Rita here live. We're gonna bring her on, and here we go. So weird here. All right, we got Rita here live. You might want to just turn your sound down, Rita.
I know. What am I doing?
Weird here. You might want to just turn your sound down, Rita.
I know. What am I doing?
Get it?
Yeah.
You might want to just turn your. What an echo! You got to mute your the video you're watching. Get it?
Okay, hold on.
No problem. Take your time. What an echo! You got to mute your the video you're watching. Get it?
Okay, hold on.
No problem. Take your time. What an echo! You got to mute your. Oh, there you go. I think you got it.
Yeah, there I go. I'm always on Safari, and I had to go into Chrome, and I had a funny feeling both windows were open. So
I got you. So I have the famous Rita here today. I met Rita out in front of Aidan's hearing this afternoon. She had a lot to talk about and a lot to say. We had some great conversation. And again, I apologize, everybody. The video was terrible. I found out the video was just awful there. You can't live stream there. But you know, enough about that. Let me just tell us a little bit about yourself and tell us how you kind of got involved in this. How did you hear about it? Do you know Aidan personally before this, or you know, kind of give us a little synopsis?
Right. So here's my story. You know,
Sure.
I'm a mom. I have a 27 and a 29-year-old, and I live in the neighborhood where the murder happened.
Wow.
And yeah, and you know, so and my son graduated with Caitlin Albert. So you know, I mean, I live right here in the neighborhood. So I'm, you know, I had a professional career. I was in leadership for 35 years. And so I have leadership experience. And what happened was, really, one of my neighbors said to me, I had been hearing stuff in like April, and I did not know Aidan, by the way.
Okay.
And I started hearing stuff in April that there was a murder. I mean, I knew it happened, and I thought it was just a tragic accident.
Sure.
And people started saying that they believed that she was framed. Information was coming out, and to listen to Turtleboy. And actually, my daughter told me first, and then my neighbor told me. So I started listening to him, and I had been warned that his style might be, you know, different. And
Sure.
the story was so compelling. And I'm new to this YouTube stuff.
Sure. Sure.
I'm used to mainstream media,
Right.
and the story was just incredible. And he's not just, you know, saying stuff. He's backing it up. He's reading from court documents.
Yeah.
And so it was riveting. And I just kept listening, and I became involved. You know, I've always been in leadership, and I work for a company that encourages us to stand up and use our voices to advocate. And between the, you know, I just ended up, this could be my child. This could be your child. This could be my sibling. This could be anybody. And it was, I couldn't not stand up. I had to stand up. And that's what I'm doing. And people, you know, it's a lot of moms, but it's a lot of, there's men there too.
Yeah.
And it's people, I didn't know any of these people. And we all just came together,
Yeah.
crossing party lines. It transcends politics, and just came together because it was the right thing to do. And, you know, we hope this is not just Canton, this is across our country. And people need to, you know, there's so much here. And I don't know, I hope that it's going to help us to move in the right direction. I really hope it's a turning point for our country.
Yeah, you know, it was funny because you and I were talking outside today, and I said, you know, I think it gets to a certain point in our lives. You know, if you recall this, I said, you know, we get to a certain age, and then we want to teach our younger people that come up behind us. And I think I got to a certain age, and that's why I started a podcast, so I could have a voice and I can go out and talk about all the stuff that I was afraid to talk about my whole life. You know, and I said, you know, and I said that, you know, I feel like we go through these certain experiences in our life to gain this, you know, knowledge that we kind of absorb in our brains and pass that down, and maybe inspire younger generations to stand up and speak, and don't be afraid to speak up for themselves, because I've been very much like that my whole life. You know, I held back all the time. And then now I'm having the ability to get past that fear or past that fence in my life to say, you know what, I do need to speak up and say something, because if you don't, things won't change. Something won't change. And, you know, I don't want to be held back on what I feel in life. I don't want to be held back what I'm supposed to say anymore. I'm just going to say it. It's my platform. I'll bring on who I want to bring on. I'll talk about what I want to talk about. And if there's an audience for that, great. You know, and if we can pass good, relevant information here, it's what I want to do, you know? So tell me, so when you started to hear about this case, because obviously it was in your neighborhood, you started to look out there, you read basically probably what the mainstream media was saying. How did you come across Turtleboy stuff? Was that just on your own, or were people telling you like, hey, you should check this out?
No. So my daughter, I have to shout out to my daughter, because my daughter had mentioned it, I think, in the April timeframe. Mom, did you hear this? And and I had a lot going on, and I said,
Mm.
I don't, I just figured what I heard was defense strategy, because you always hear the defense is doing this.
Mhm.
This is a total role reversal. Total role reversal. The prosecution is playing with the evidence, and the defense is saying, give it to me factually. And so my daughter had mentioned it, and I just thought it was defense strategy, but I hadn't had time to do anything with what she told me. I didn't know where to go with it, because
Right.
all you saw was in mainstream media, and there was nothing there. And then I ran into a neighbor, and we were chit-chatting, and she said to me, we were talking about it, and she believed that there was potentially a cover-up. And I said, I don't know where the information is. And she said, Turtleboy. I go, Turtleboy. And
Wow.
so,
You're like,
I
"What?
somebody by the name of
Who's
Turtleboy, you
this
go,
person?"
he's gonna
Right.
have murder. I'm gonna listen,
Right.
and I said, okay. And then I started listening to
Yeah.
him. And he's just he's brilliant. He's brilliant. I
Yeah.
mean, and to listen to him tell the story and go through the evidence, it's black and white. And it
Sure.
is like, oh, maybe there's a reasonable this woman is innocent.
Right.
And there are so many reasons why. Um, I challenge anybody to write them. There's so many. It's just unbelievable.
Can you tell me, can we go back, since you said you lived in that neighborhood? I just wanted to hear what your initial thought was. What was the consensus in the neighborhood? And now that we've had what, almost a year, a year out or 2 years now, away from the actual, the death, has things changed in the neighborhood? Have people, now that they've heard more about it, are their opinions changing? And how does, are there people that are, that's what I said today. Like I feel like there's people that are very, it's not anything in the middle. It's either you're one side or the other. First, can you tell me what was the general consensus when this first happened, and have people's opinions changed in your neighborhood?
Okay. So, my kids are grown, and, my neighborhood has different ages in here. And, I've always worked my whole life. So, um, it's not like my neighborhood, it's people
Okay.
I talk to.
Right, right, right.
And so, you know, I mean, let's face it, when the murder happened, I forget who it was, but the chief of police, the chief of police and the higher ups, that very night, the very next night, they're declaring Karen guilty.
Mhm.
And Aidan has all of that information, but
Yeah.
they're
Right.
declaring her guilty. Not even, geez, we have the suspect or this. They declared her guilty. And so you read that, and then you read, it was an accident and maybe she hit him over the head and they declared her guilty. So you go, oh, something happened, and you don't think about it. And
Right.
so people, what I'm seeing here in Canton is, and what I'm seeing around, because I have an opportunity to talk to a lot of people every day,
Right.
is that you have people that are listening to Aidan and they're seeing for themselves.
Right.
And then you have this population of people who don't want the secret out. And
Interesting.
so you have people terrorized by that.
Yeah.
They don't want the secret out, and people are in fear of using their voices, but
Sure.
they're coming out more and more and getting in touch with us and telling us that they're in support of this. Then you have a third population who is completely oblivious.
Sure.
And people in my own neighborhood. My fiance spoke to someone yesterday, who was maybe 75, and has been an original owner. He's been here maybe 50 years. He knew nothing about the murder, let alone
Right.
everything else. And so I think that what you have is a population that maybe you're getting their information from mainstream media or the Canton Citizen. Well, the
Right.
Canton Citizen has been playing the mainstream media. They haven't represented the whole story, but now that seems to be changing. And so we're trying to reach, we know, and we're trying to reach everybody.
Right.
And, we just have to spread the word. Everybody has to spread the word, because this is our country. And if we don't stand with our voices peacefully and respectfully for what is right and what is wrong,
Yeah.
we're not going to be free.
Right. Yeah, and I think we talked about that today. Is like, I think people get really wrapped up in national elections, and you really have to look at the people that you vote in your communities because that's going to make the closest and quickest impact on you. So if there's something that's not working or there's not transparency in your local governments, you all need to go out and vote. Those are the elections that matter.
Right.
President doesn't fucking matter. That changes every 4 years. It's, yes, it matters, but the communities you live in and you police, those are the communities that you have to pay attention to. Those are the leaders that you're going to have to look closely into.
Right. And the thing about it is, and I mentioned this to someone today, in the corporate world, the business world, or wherever you work, you you have to, you have certain standards and the government doesn't. And when you go for a job, there's a background check on you.
Yeah.
Somebody in government doesn't have a background check. They're not subject to it. Nobody's going to pay for it. So if the
Right.
citizens don't pay for it, then you don't know if this person's a criminal.
Right. Yeah.
And so people need to get involved and be aware. And when I was in my 20s and 30s and then having a family, it was like you just thought everything just worked. It doesn't.
Yeah.
And that's what we're seeing.
So what are you seeing in Canton? Is there a real divide on this case or
Oh, yes.
yeah,
Oh, people,
yeah.
the
It must be crazy there.
the impact this case has is like no other. And
Wow.
unless you live in it, it's really, everybody's connected. Everybody who knows, I mean, everybody who knows somebody
Yeah.
that lives in Canton
That
is
knows.
impacted.
Right. Wow.
It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. It just is.
So are you involved with, I know you all have you have a group that does rallies and parties and get-togethers. Are you involved in any of that organization or you
Oh,
just
we're
kind
a team. Oh,
of,
we are a family.
yeah,
We are a family.
yeah,
Everybody who knows the truth. Um, it's the love and the outpouring is so, it's just, I mean, I feel like it's what America is. You know what I mean? It's supposed to be,
yeah,
that's what we have, so much love. And, sometimes I'll go out and protest with them, silently protest. But
right,
when we say silently protest, we mean we're respectful. And when we protest, we're happy. We're exercising our First Amendment rights.
right.
And then there's some of us that strategize on what we're going to do. And then there's I mean, we just a team and we just came together and everybody fills whatever role has to get done at that time.
That's
That's
good.
really what
Yeah.
it is. It's
I
amazing.
Yeah, I mean, coming in contact with a lot of people today, and I said this, everybody was very, very nice, very opening, and they were like, "I know you, you're LTL, I know you," and everybody kind of come up and they were talking to me a little bit. It was very, very nice. I mean, it wasn't, there was
Oh,
no sense of I felt violent or anything. I felt like you're true, advocates, you're true activists. You're really looking to make a change here. You feel strong, you feel good about America. You feel good about the First Amendment, and that's kind of the tone that I got down there today. And again, very opening and welcoming.
we hug. We
Yeah,
hug, we
yeah, yeah.
kiss,
Right.
and it's just I've never been an activist. Never. And but this I couldn't sit back. I just couldn't sit back. I said, "No, I have to speak up."
What makes you so passionate about this? I noticed when I talk to a lot of people, they're very ingrained on it. If you're on the Karen Reed side, what got you pulled in so much? Is it the community? Is it just what you're seeing going on in the case? What really? Because I can see it, I can hear it, and I see it in your body language, the passion that's there. What really gets you fired up about this?
Right from wrong.
Yeah,
Right from wrong. And it's so crystal clear. This could be anybody.
yeah,
It could be your child. It could be anybody. And we cannot tolerate this. And I'm not saying, and I want to make sure because I don't know your viewers, I'm saying be peaceful. Use your voice.
of
This
course.
is, we have to come together. And I got to tell you, there's strength in numbers and people coming together, people all over sending me messages, sending us messages. And they are finding their voices.
Mhm.
And, it's funny. I was talking to somebody today, and I think you were there, or maybe it was you. I don't remember.
Yeah, yeah.
And, Teddy Pendergrass had the song "Wake Up, Everybody."
Yeah, yeah.
Wake up. If you don't do something, you're never going to change your world. And we need to do something and change our world. There's too much hate and corruption out there, and you know we need to do something, and it's right and wrong. That's what it is. It's crystal clear, and we cannot allow this to happen. We just can't.
Yeah, I want to let the viewers know too, the consensus, and I think just from pretty much everybody I talked to down there today is they're very pro law enforcement. I think there's a lot of negative stigma about this, and even Aiden is very pro law enforcement. There's been a little this negative stigma around this is that you're all cop haters and you hate the cops and you hate the system. And I didn't get that at all. I mean, everybody was very, very pro law enforcement. They support law enforcement. It's just that with this particular case, I think that you all feel you're very passionate about that. Something happened, and something is it's something happened. It's not right, and the layers of the onion are being peeled back and being exposed. And that's what I get a general sense from the crowd down there. So.
Yeah. And I'm going to tell you, we have a great Canton police force, and we really do. And,
Yeah.
like I said, you got corporate world and you have the government, and things you would not accept and tolerate in the corporate world, people get away with in the government. And we respect law enforcement.
Mhm.
We just want, just like any business, you got good and bad employees. We just want the bad employees addressed
Right.
and managed the same way we do in a business. I mean, this is a country. We need to treat it like a business. And I'm
Yeah.
going to say something, which, I don't know. It's just the excitement and the passion of this whole movement. It
Sure.
is, it is what it could mean to our country and to our town. I mean, we see it bigger than this. And Tully, the one who, there's all these different players, and Tully's the top.
Mhm.
I don't know exactly his role. I forget. State police. And
Sure.
then you have the lead investigator and the two investigators, and that's where a lot of the corruption is. And when he came out, so when everybody left, it was just me and Brad Goldstein, who's also very involved, and somebody else. And it was just the three of us talking. And down the steps came the special prosecutor, Mello,
Sure.
and Tully. And so I knew, I thought it was either Tully or Proctor. I couldn't, because everybody's got bald heads. I couldn't tell.
Right.
And so they came down the
We all do.
You don't have to worry about anything, And they came down, and he was standing right in front of me, a foot away. And the prosecutor was there too. And I looked him right in the eye. And with a big, broad smile on my face, I said, "We are friendly and we are fun."
Yeah,
And
yeah.
he looked at me and he said, "That's great." He goes, "We like that."
Yeah.
And, I think, what the expectation was probably like sometimes we see in the news, people say something nasty.
Right.
And that's just not who we are.
Right. Right.
We're not nasty people. We're
Yeah.
just good
I get.
people that want
Yeah.
justice.
Again, I that's what I said, when I was down there, I didn't get any of I didn't feel that it was going to be violent. I didn't think any of that. Everybody was very nice. Everybody was very informative. We had some really nice conversations when I wasn't streaming. I was talking to people, and very, very nice. I mean, it was a nice crowd, and it was nice to see the supporters come out. We know it's a work day. I'm sure if it was a weekend, there'd probably be 300-400 people there. But seeing everybody coming by and honking,
Yes.
was really cool too. There was a lot of people honking today.
A
Believe me,
lot of people. I was walking down
Yeah.
the street, and me, I'm just being me. I don't
Yeah.
think anything. This is
Right.
just me being me. And I'm walking down the street, and I was even walking forward, and the guy's driving beside me, and he recognized me. He starts beeping his horn and yelling out, "Raider, and taking my
Yeah, when I was having my live going today and I had you on there, everybody's like, "That's Rita. That's Rita. We love her. We love her." So it is. It's a very peaceful, calm community.
Yeah.
That's the sense that I get from it, and very welcoming. And people were it was great. It was just really nice to meet some people today.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and Canton is a great town, and we have a great country. We really do.
Yeah, we do. We live in the best country in the world. I mean, we
We
live in a
do, but
country
we
in the
have to
world.
work to keep it.
Right.
It's not gonna stay great if we don't work to keep it. So everybody has to do their part and get involved and raise your awareness on what's going on in
Yeah.
your local governments.
Yeah, I agree. So what's next for you, Rita? Where does your group go from here? Do you have any events that you want to shout out or anything like that? Or maybe a Facebook page or Twitter account, anything that anybody could follow?
So here's the thing, and this is what so this is not just the Karen Reed case in Canton.
Sure, sure.
We have a board of select, and that's where my energies have been.
Oh, okay.
And so it's because they overlap. So we have a board of select. We have 5 select people, and one has 34 years tenure, and then we have a moderator. Well, out of the 6 of them,
Mhm.
3 of them have family ties to this murder case.
Hmm.
And one of them, Chris Albert, the murder was at his brother's house. Chris was at the house with his wife and his son. And his son is the one who people
Right.
believe is the alleged,
Right.
murderer.
Right. Right.
So, I'm saying alleged,
Yep.
So I'm giving him the benefit, even though Karen didn't get it.
Sure.
And so we have some serious conflict of interest there. And we also have the Canton Police Force, and
Wow.
there were major issues on this investigation. They did not follow protocol, and they're all friends. They're all friends and family. And it's really, so it all goes, so the Board of Select oversees the Canton Police. And so we have been trying for months to get the Board of Select and the police chief to meet with us to discuss our concerns.
Sure.
And we've been stonewalled for months.
Hmm.
And they just sit there and say nothing because they don't have to.
Right.
And so, but we continue to raise the issues. And so when, we had had enough of being stonewalled, an initiative, Kathleen Howley, part of me saying, do I mention people's names? Because I'm not used to being on media, but she is on media. Everybody knows. So
Right,
Kathleen
right.
Howley decided to spearhead the special town meeting, and we all worked together and got the information on how to coordinate a special town meeting, and so we scheduled it, and now we are essentially forcing them to have us an audience and answer our questions. So what could have been maybe 20 or 30 people at tops,
Right.
sitting down, the chief was only willing to meet with people one-on-one, and that was unacceptable. So we have a town meeting the Monday of Thanksgiving week at 7:00 at the Canton High School, and any of your viewers who knows anyone that lives in Canton, please reach out to them and let them know that it's the utmost important that they attend that special town meeting, where
Sure.
we are going to ask, among a few other things, for an independent investigation of the Canton Police Force.
Oh, wow. Wow.
So that's really where, so I started off with the murder case, and then we realized the connections with Chris Albert on the board. And, Chris Albert's a whole nother story in and of himself. He's the one who owns the pizza shop and whatever. And Chris Albert doesn't pay his bills. He has had many liens against him, I think upwards of a dozen. He has had vendors sue him for non-payment, and one was was a resident who had an oil company. He didn't pay his bills, and then he doesn't show up at court when he's supposed to show up at court because, well, he's got 2 brothers that are in the police force, and he knows how to play the game. And so, and Chris just recently had another tax lien of $25,000 this past September. It was in Bankers and Trades. So he doesn't pay his bills, and he has a spotty voting record. But in January, when the focus was on his family and shifting from Karen onto his family, he decided he was going to run for select board. And he's on. So, and people were trying to get the information out before he was voted in that he had this kind of background. And he's also responsible for a fatal hit and run in 1994 as well. And people were trying to get this information out, but the local paper, from what I'm told, was not printing it. And clearly I read it, and it wasn't in the paper. So he was able to get elected because the voting not get this information. So this whole thing has crossover, and we anybody who knows anybody that lives in Canton, please encourage them to go to the special town meeting because we need them there. We need their votes.
Okay. All right. Anything else come up? Any other rallies or anything that you'll be having that the public can come out to, or?
The rallies are what we call peaceful protests,
Sure.
and people can just plan their own. I
Yeah.
really urge your viewers to just
Sure.
plan their own. And what people do is they go out with signs. They usually go over the highway overpasses,
Yeah.
where there's high traffic, like if
Right.
there's a football game or whatever, or people getting out of work. And people just on Facebook, they get together, they meet, and they hold signs, framed Karen Reed, whatever it is, whatever message you want to get
Right.
out there that's going to help people that are driving by. If they're not aware of the issue, let them Google it so they can find it.
Of course.
We need to get the word out so people don't wait for us. Have your own rallies. We're saying have them across the country. Get those rallies out. The message is free Karen Reed, but I think if you say Karen Reed framed, they'll pull up Aidan's episode.
Got it.
And that's a good starting point.
Excellent. Excellent. All right. Well, I appreciate you jumping on with us for about 15 minutes and kind of giving us some information of how you're involved and what you've been doing to help out in this case. And it's interesting. It's a very interesting case, and it's definitely caught my ear. And I want to have Aidan back on the show at some time here. And actually, he told me today, he said, "Hey, I want to come back on your podcast." So that's a good sign. And hopefully we can get him back over here at some point.
Oh, yeah, I'm going to tell you something. This is the story of the century.
Yeah,
this
it's big.
is huge.
It's
Huge.
It's interesting. So Rita, thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Yeah, thanks for coming on. Give us a little bit of your time tonight, and maybe we can have you on again in the future.
Sure, just let me know.
All right.
Okay, and spread the word.
We
Spread
will.
the word. Okay, thank
Yeah.
you.
Take care. Bye-bye. That was Rita. Very nice. Really, really nice. That's great. All right, let's go back to the video outside the courtroom today that I grabbed. You got Aidan that came out. We'll play this here. Rita, appreciate that.
Back to the Crocker things. Did you urge at all anyone to put the information out? Did you say, I didn't see the clip, did you say contact?
I don't remember the exact list, but I said I did post about what our employer's name was, since that's what we're doing now. And if people commented on the page or gave them a negative review, that's on them. I didn't leave a negative review on Instrom's Facebook.
Yeah, she was great.
If Instrom wants to employ somebody who acts like that and behaves like that, they're free to. But I have a right to inform the public that this woman is doing this behavior and she works for this company over here.
Judge Krupp alluded that this case would eventually be heard by a jury. Did you think it would ever go that far?
I have no idea how the process works. I'm happy to try this in front of a jury, whatever they want to do. I'm not afraid. The facts are on my side. I would love to get these 8 so-called victims or witnesses on the stand and ask them about exactly what they did. And I would like to ask Elizabeth Proctor why she did that, why she contacted people's employers, and why it's not okay when the same thing ends up happening to her.
You've been very supportive of Karen Reed and her family. Have they been supportive of you? Have they reached out to you?
Oh, I've had conversations with the Reed family for sure. Conversations.
Sorry, it's so hard to hear. I don't have an external microphone. So.
Very well. Good job, Ed.
Any questions? I'll take questions.
So the judge talked about due process and that he mentioned that you're arguing based on the First Amendment. And so is he going to want full documentation to back that up? Or?
Yeah, I mean, he's trying to be fair to the Commonwealth. I don't have any problem with that. We're not here to compromise. We're not here to work out a solution. These orders are unconstitutional. They need to be vacated. They can take a month if they want to find some law in their favor. They're not going to find it. In this case, we just kept uncovering theories on why this violates Mr. Kearney's First Amendment rights. It violates his due process rights. The government can't just suddenly decide that everything that all of you folks do every day is now a felony. That's absurd. That's a due process violation. The government has to give fair notice. A reasonably intelligent person has to be able to look at a statute and know what is prohibited and what is not. And there are reams of videos where people stick a microphone in someone's face, and I don't mind Ted sticking one in my face.
That was kind of funny, actually.
When you're trying to uncover hard stories, hard facts, you have to get tough. And I know a lot of you here, and a lot of you have to get tough, and I've seen it, and it's terrific for uncovering the facts, uncovering the truth.
And the only reason Aidan Kearney is the one on the chopping block here is because these prosecutors, these state troopers, they're lost in the fog of the battle here on the Karen Reed case. And Aidan Kearney is uncovering facts that hurt him. And so they used what was at what they had to go after Aidan Kearney. They used the machinery of the state to prosecute him on something that is unprecedented. Pure journalism, on something that is tough journalism that is completely covered and protected by the First Amendment. The Supreme Court allows KKK, allows Nazis, allows awful people to spew hate. That's not even what we're doing here. Aidan Kearney is doing good work, is speaking on matters of public concerns, what the Supreme Court calls it, and is acting in such a way that helps society, helps the pursuit of truth. And he is the one that's on the chopping block. It's outrageous. This is a doom.
Oh, real quick, just for the record, I want to put this out there. So the video that I obtained for the body cam footage for Chelsea Grimm, that is the video that the police department gave me. So I just want to make that very clear to everybody, because I know I'm seeing some comments. Oh, is that her license plate? This and that. That's the video they gave me. So if they felt that anything needed to be redacted, they would have redacted it. So I just want to put that out there. That's the video they handed to me. I obtained it right from the police department itself, and that's what they gave me. So if anything needed to be redacted, they would have taken care of that. All right, let's keep playing through.
Prosecution, whether it ends here in Dedham, whether it ends in Boston at the SJC, or whether it ends in Washington, D.C., this prosecution is doomed. Thank you.
Do you have to submit one more document before he takes the matter under advisement and issues a ruling?
Yeah, we supplied to the court in an electronic filing reams of clips off the internet where reporters, probably some of you in this crowd, are showing up somewhere impolite, showing up somewhere that might raise an eyebrow, showing up in a guy's driveway, asking tough questions.
That's not my job to redact it. It's the police department's. So if they felt anything needed to be redacted, they would have taken it out.
I believe it was your station where a
Full
reporter
video.
showed up at Rachel Rollins' house and asked her about a radio incident that I first reported. And Rachel Rollins flipped out at her, yelled, "Get out of my, you have no right to be here." But the reporter did have a right to be there. That's a time-honored tradition of journalism in this country. And what they are trying to do is ban people from being uncomfortable. Protesting is designed to make people uncomfortable. 250 years ago, this coming December, less than 10 miles from here, a bunch of people made the British uncomfortable by throwing a bunch of tea off a ship. And it jump-started a revolution that ended up creating the greatest country in the history of the earth, one in which free speech and free press is protected at all costs. And what they are trying to do right now, what the state is trying to do, what the corrupt Massachusetts police are trying to do, is trying to outlaw that. The same Detective Brian Tully, who signed the reports, Michael Proctor's fraudulent reports, is the one who not only spearheaded this entire investigation and this entire prosecution, he comes to every hearing as well. He is here today. Meanwhile, there is a Ford Edge out there that was parked at 3 a.m. right next to John O'Keefe's body outside of 34 Fairview Road. They are aware of it. It has now been 83 days since they became aware of it. Instead of finding who was driving that Ford Edge, he's in here watching this sham of an injustice take place in this courtroom, which he spearheaded.
Right. Aidan, what effect does this prosecution have on freedom of the press?
This should scare everyone. Like we said, we've pulled up hundreds. You can find probably thousands of videos of reporters aggressively pursuing and asking questions of people that make them uncomfortable. Those reporters were not charged with witness intimidation as a result of that. So this has an extreme chilling effect on free speech and free press in this country. And perhaps some journalists are okay with it because I'm uncouth or I say words that make some people feel uncomfortable. But today it's me, tomorrow it's them, so they should probably be a lot more concerned about it.
This is a test case for that. And if they're allowed to get away with this for Mr. Kearney, everyone else is next. Everyone else in the media is next.
Will this case set a precedent?
Yes.
Not bad skills holding the camera steady, huh?
How long do you think the trial? 1,000 people over here, Aidan.
Anyone else have any questions?
Keep exposing the truth.
We'll do. We'll keep doing it. So, thank you all for coming. I appreciate it. Thank you all for coming. Thank you.
Right? Spiffy. I'll send you that clip of Mello, by the way. It's a good one.
Oh, yeah. We got a whole agenda. Thank you guys all.
Yeah, I didn't bobble it at all. I did actually pretty well. I was surprised. There's Rita in the black jacket. She's right over here.
All right.
That's his. He has no facts. Back it up. He's saying all that stuff. Like you go back up.
Thanks, Gary. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Hi. Okay, cool. Thank you very much. Oh, the one in Bridgewater? Oh, yeah, okay, I remember that one, yes.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just, I think it's just people that believe in a cause, and this could be anything. Could be anything that people believe in here. And this is how communities come together when they feel strong about something. They come in numbers and they come in, if you do it right and you do it the right way and you do it and you come in peace, I don't see a problem sticking up for things in your community. This is what they are passionate about. They're passionate about this. They're passionate about this case. They're passionate about Aidan. And, it was just a really interesting perspective to go down there as kind of a member of the media today and cover it, from that perspective.
Yeah, that's right.
My biggest question is, Colin was not mentioned. Any court documents were interviewed. How can you even consider him a potential witness at the time that he made that phone call?
That's a great point.
He wasn't even a
Thank you very much. Thanks for coming. Appreciate it.
Give me a picture.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Those are all the clips. There you go. Hey, well, have everybody here. If everyone wants to go to KC's tomorrow. Oh, excellent. I was just there. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
If you don't like it,
There is too much. Oh, you heard me rant about Marvin.
So I was feeling kind of awkward here. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how to get his attention, but I think he turned around. I introduced myself and he's like, "Oh yeah, I remember, I know who you are." And before when he was walking in, I didn't get him. He said, "Hey, I know who you are." And he shook my hand on his way up to the courtroom, but I was just kind of trying to stay out of the way and stay back and just give everybody their space. And I wanted to capture, just capture the moment. So, all right, we'll play this up another 2 or 3 minutes here.
See Jill anywhere?
Hold it the way it's like 2 hours.
Yeah, I know. Imagine just beeping in traffic. Jill Daniels stops. She loves you, Aidan. Tomorrow? What's tomorrow?
Submission.
Yeah, it was cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
I talked to this lady too that's taking a picture with Aidan right now. She was very nice. Everybody was really nice down there. I forgive me if she's watching. I didn't get her name, but she was very nice.
That was
me.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
The more they come after you, the more stronger you are.
Oh yeah, exactly. I'm having a good time.
Tell him the bald guy that was sitting in the back of the
Yeah,
Yeah, that's him.
Yeah,
That's him. That's it.
Aidan, Brian, LTL.
Oh, nice to see you,
What's
Brian.
up,
How you
man?
doing,
How are you?
brother?
Good to see
We'll
you.
come back in your show soon.
Oh,
sometime.
awesome.
Thank you for
Yeah,
having me on.
yeah,
I appreciate
absolutely.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Good stuff.
I recognize you.
All right, guys. Thank you guys all for coming. I
All right.
appreciate it.
Take care.
Hey, how are you?
Awesome. Thank
How you
you.
doing? Are you the Bedford show?
So I felt bad because that guy was really nice. I just didn't really, I noticed like earlier I said where I was from and I didn't want to dox myself again. So he asked me, I kind of ignored him. I felt bad. So if the guy's watching, I apologize. I said no off camera. I'm not from the New Bedford show. But this basically it's it. That's wrapped it up. And then Aidan kind of took off to the right. That's when I followed him a little bit. He was walking fast. I just grabbed him and said, hey, can I grab a quick picture with you? And that's the spontaneous picture that we had together. So it was neat. It was interesting. It got the juices flowing, that kind of journalistic juice flowing, and your heart starts beating fast and you're trying to get the best angle in the story and the pictures. And it worked out. It was nice. It kind of cut my teeth today. And I think I did a pretty good job. I apologize. The stream wasn't as good because of the service there, but it went really well. I think I asked some really great questions during the live, but it just, you can only, the video was so choppy. I was pissed.
Already going live tonight?
Yeah, 8 p.m.
Live tonight.
Yeah, I'll do a recap, 8 p.m. Yep, thank you.
That's it. Everybody was asking, who are you with? LTL podcast. Okay. I try to keep these down to about an hour and a half. We've hit an hour and a half. I've been trying to get them down to at least an hour. I'm going to release the Aidan video right now, actually. But he did do a wrap up on his channel today. I'll drop the link if you're interested in watching that. I'm going to get through this and end this. And then tomorrow night we'll come back. We're going to talk a little bit more about Chelsea's story. There's new information coming through. Brian Enton is now investigating it as well and gave his kind of feedback on that. And then on Friday night, because tomorrow's Thursday, Friday night, we're going to do Idaho. We'll be back for Idaho 4. There's been some new information in that. The FBI was out there reconstructing the scene today. So that was really interesting. Thanks. Yeah, thank you. If you want, maybe we'll do an after show. I can do an after show for a little bit. Let me just get the tile up and we'll do that for members only. So if you want to join as a member right now and continue the conversation, we can do that. I'm going to bump this over to a members only. Just give me a second. I'm going to get the tile ready here and we'll drop the link if you want to hang out in a members only after. We'll do that. I'll give you guys a little members only and talk a little bit more about what happened today and a little bit more of Chelsea's story as well too. So give me a second. I'm going to get the tile up for that. We'll do a little after show, maybe about a half an hour, and then I'm going to call it a night. Hang out here. We'll get that tile up right now. I'll drop the link and we'll head over to the after show. If you want to come over and continue the conversation with us, you can just go down there below and hit the join button. You can join a membership stuff at $1.99. It helps support the channel here. Or you can always upgrade your membership. It's up to you. Let's see this. Let me drop a tile here in a second. I would appreciate y'all hanging out for a second. Members only. After show. Let's do this. I cannot believe it's November already. It's wild. It's so wild. All right. I got that up. I'm going to drop this in a second. Let me put the tile up. Tile's up. I'm going to drop the link in about 2 seconds. It's going to be for today at 10. We'll go 10:05. I'm going to create that. I'm going to drop the link here in a second. Let me get that up. And let me just get the live set up. We'll go hang out for a little bit. I got some more stuff I want to share, but I only want to give it to the members right now. Let's see. Members only. Members only published. So the link should come up. Let me get the link. I'll drop the link in the chat and we'll go do a members only. I get some stuff I want to share over there with you all the members first. Members only. Come hang out. Here, I'll do this. Let me give back. Let's get some members. Let's get some members. Here, we'll do this. 5 free memberships coming. 5 free memberships. Come join the after show. Boom. There you go. After show. Let me get the link. Click on the link. Head over to the after show. There's the after show. Let's go do that. I got some members only stuff I want to get out, give you some information. All right, let me shut this down. I'll be over there in a minute. Appreciate everybody watching the regular show tonight. Come join us after show. 5 gifted memberships, all for you. And we'll have some fun over there. Let me check out. And I'll see you guys over there in a second. All right. Thanks for watching tonight. Appreciate all the new members, all the new subscribers. Thank you so much, everybody down at the courthouse today. You guys were phenomenal. You were awesome. Look forward to doing it again sometime and being down there and capturing, what goes on. All right. Thanks. I'll see you over in the members only. Bye.